Let's see what we can turn this car into. Here we got it opened up now. Got our wires. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet. If I'm gonna try to keep that on there and have the lights or not. Probably just gonna disconnect all the wires and slap the grill back on. But we'll see what happens. So now I've got the whole car opened up. We're just probably gonna rip out all these electronics and see what we can do. Obviously this is, got our motor and our gears back here, and then we got the main microchip there. That's your receiver and stuff, and the front motor for servo, which I never really realized this before because I was really young the last time I saw this car, but the motor for turning is the exact same as the motor for going, so that's fun. So now we're to the fun part where I'm going to try to put this motor as well as other internals from a normal 1/10 scale RC into this small body, get them situated so that they'll stay, and then we're gonna see if we can get this car cranking. So after a little planning and looking, I actually found this motor, which is a bit smaller. It's a old slot machine Trinity boy, and I'm gonna solder this up because I have no idea if it works, and if it works, I think I'm gonna actually put this motor into this. Just finished up soldering the motor. It went okay. I'm not great at soldering. This was only the second motor I've ever soldered, but it works. Tested it. Everything's good on that end. I also was able to cut that open a little bit. Gonna put the wheels back in there just so I can get it lined up to the gear again. But I cut out this spot so that the motor can fit right in there like that. I gotta figure out a way to attach it. The top screw of the motor will easily go where the old motor used to be, so I'm just going to use that as like a reference point to drill through, and then I just got to figure out something for down here to hold it in as well. I also have this crappy speed control from that Stadium Blitzer over there. This is the original speed control that got a little damaged, but it works, and I have some junk batteries that I'm going to use for this car anyway, and this isn't something I super care about, so I'm okay with kind of using this crappy speed control for it. Still got to figure out what I got to do for a receiver, and as well as steering in the front, because what used to be in this will not work. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get it to turn, which will be another fun adventure. But yeah, everything seems to be going well. Just got the motor hooked up and gave it a little test. It runs. It will run. It won't be as fast as I wanted because of how the gears are in there, but that's okay. I can fix that later. It's a little close to this tire, which I'm gonna want to fix, and I need to figure out a way to keep this down and solid because it does seem to not want to support the weight, because this motor is quite heavier than what was in there. As you can see, it can now stand up, so I'm gonna have to even out the weight a little bit to the front, but that'll happen when I have to put the driving or the steering back in. But yeah, we got that running now. Did a little bit more work lining it up so that it's a little bit better and smoother. Added another screw just for support, mainly because it didn't do much, and just I wanted to show it running, so I have it hooked up to I forgot to take the battery out of that, but it's almost dead, but that's fine. But I have it hooked up to a different speed control like the other one I have. That's in my crappy drift car that I kind of threw together, but I wanted to show this thing kind of running. This is kind of hard to do while holding Kim. Well, seems like we got a new problem. The motor doesn't seem to be turning. Don't know why, but we'll get back to you. So it turns out one of the screws was inhibiting it from turning. I don't think I put the screw in right, so it just was stuck. Now the motor does seem to want to turn. I think it was the bottom one because it didn't turn until I took that out. Maybe I just didn't put it in straight. Not super sure. I'm gonna just kind of slowly put it back in, or maybe I got the wrong screw. I thought I got the right screw because I have screws specifically for these that I put in. Maybe it was just acting weird. Ah, no, that's grinding there. Screws in too deep. Good to know. It's gotta be there. I over tightened. That is my bad. I'm very dumb sometimes, and that'll happen. I'll be back to you when I have this problem fixed and the tires are running. Okay, did some tuning, put it back on, did some more stuff, but yeah, was able to get the tires spinning, and so now we got some throttle. Not the greatest, but it works, and that's really what I'm going for right here. I don't really care if it breaks or something explodes or something bad like that, because it's just kind of a junky thing that I'm trying to throw together for fun. But yeah, we got them spinning now, so that's real nice. So now that the back half of the car is complete, I was going to work on the front, which I got all this situated back in here because I decided I'm going to try to rig up the original motor because it's the only thing that really fits to be able to turn it again. So the actual microchip for it or whatever is not going to work because it's a little bit broken now. And it was fried anyway before because nothing in the car worked before. So what I tried to do is I also tried to use this servo here. It was old and it wasn't working. So I thought maybe I can hook it up or solder this little motor onto it up here to be able to replace the other one because I couldn't get the other one off, which was okay. And I tested it to make sure it would work, and it was working when I tapped the wires, but as you can see right there, this thing's really old and those wires fell off while I was testing it, which didn't go well because now this whole thing is useless because I don't feel like reattaching those wires because it's, I mean I might, but it's just a lot more work than I wanted to do. So I'm right now digging around for a different servo because I know I had like a few of these old ones just kind of lying around from like that car because that car has got a new servo, and both of those nitro cars have new servos in them as well. So I just gotta find the old ones, which I may have gotten rid of because I think a couple were burned out. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Got most of this done. It hasn't taken too long. Got the motor hooked up, got my burnt out speed control, and yeah. So we're at the same position. I just kind of threw the receiver in there to just try to make it go back and forth a bit. Worked. Goes back and forth. I'm gonna have to get its actual battery for it later and figure out how I'm gonna strap that on there, but we did run into a problem. Obviously I can't just hook these wires up to anything without something to tell it what to do, because it will just start spinning because that's how these types of motors work. I do not know what I'm gonna do for that quite yet. I don't know how to, make that type of part, nor do I have the materials to make that kind of part. And with this servo, as I talked about a bit ago, breaking how it did with those wires falling off, there is not much I can do. Unless I can figure out a good replacement. This is probably going to be sitting here for a few days. Yeah, because today I probably spent, or in total right now, I probably spent about 4 hours on it because I started at 2 o'clock and it's now 6 o'clock. So I think that's all we're gonna do for now, which I'm happy with what I did get done. Got it running. The motor back there works. It'll probably break it really quick once we get it actually going. I'm gonna need some new tires for it because these tires suck. Or I might just take like some tape or something, maybe some electrical tape, wrap it over them, give them a little more beef or something. But yeah, this is where it's probably just gonna sit for a few days until I can get the parts I need to finish it. So I guess I will pick this up again in a few days, or who knows, maybe later tonight when I feel like actually working on that servo to make it work. I'm just getting really tired because the past few days I've been doing a lot of work, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll check in again later when we hopefully have more done. So back with an update. I now have a steering servo, a nice old Futaba, so that'll be really nice. And what I've done is I've taken the original part of this, which was this little gear, and I've cut one of those little servo thingies up and then drilled it up so that it can fit on that, so that this will be able to fit in the car like it normally would, so that you can drop this in on there and then eventually get the servo sitting right here so that it can turn without normal difficulty, which I'm gonna have to figure out how to stabilize this better, which that won't be too hard. But yeah, problem solved, I guess.